Hi, Fashion Dolls. Did y'all miss me? I know we took a hiatus. We were supposed to have a guest today at 3 and a guest today yesterday, but I feel pretty good returning back from the break. Hopefully, we're going to get everything back in order with you guys in regularly scheduled programming. Joining me today, we have an actor, a writer. We also have a host and world spoken artist. I'm super excited for our very special guest today. I came to see hair and nails and outfit. Thank you. Thank you. I would stand up, but the picture of today's outfit is up, Fashion Dolls. You guys can go and check it out. Today's look is from Fashion Nova. We got a new hair color. This color is called caramel. I wanted to try something a little bit different. So, I'm always evolving. I'm always changing up, always doing different things with my look and consulting with the professionals. So shout outs to my glam, Melanie Nalamai Bridges, for making sure that I am right. Our very special guest joining us today is Mr. Harold E. Outley, and he is a spoken word artist and an actor and writer. I'm super excited to have him here, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to get right into this interview as soon as he gets in. All right. And you can check out the look on. It is up, Fashion Dolls. I know you guys missed me. We were supposed to have some guests come on yesterday as well as today. I don't know what happened with our guest that was supposed to be here at 3. Hopefully something can come up and we can reschedule. But joining us today we have actor, writer, and spoken word artist, Mr. Harold Outley. Ladies and gentlemen, he is here. So without further ado, let's get right into this interview. And again, today's look is from Fashion Nova, this beautiful black evening gown, and I wanted to go for something very sultry, very sexy this evening. So yeah. Welcome to the dollhouse.
Hey, what up, Joe? How you feeling?
I'm great. How are you? Happy Wednesday.
Thank you. I'm doing good. It's chilly, but I'm breathing, so I ain't tripping. I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing wonderful. It is great to have you here. So, how has 2022 been for you thus far? I know we've had some ups and downs with everything this pandemic and so many things going on. So, how's 2022 been for you thus far?
2022 honestly has been great. I really can't complain about anything. I've been focused. Um, Things have happened that I didn't expect to happen, but it's definitely been a blessing. 2022 has been a blessing thus far.
Okay. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into this interview with our very, very, very special guest, Mr. Harold Outley. So, you wear many hats. You are a writer, you're a spoken word artist, you're an actor. So, if I'm not mistaken, you began writing at the age of 19 years old, growing up in Detroit. So, tell us a little bit about that. How many brothers, how many sisters, and what motivated you to get into writing and acting?
Well, once again, my name is Mr. Ali. I am from the city of Detroit. Um, Raised by a single parent, older sister, younger brother, and I always looked at writing as a gift. I
Yes.
believe when I was in my mama's womb, that's what he put on me. And at 19, really 10, I wrote a story, but at 19 is when I started really playing with the words. And I guess I thought I wanted to be a rapper. That really wasn't the case, but it was something about poetry and writing. And over the years, I think I got on stage at the first time at 25. And since then, I've been writing, performing for over 20 years. And the acting chose me. 2017, a young lady by the name of Mika Nicole, rest in peace, she saw something in me to put me in her adaptation of For Color Girls. And that's where it started. And although I played someone similar to myself, I enjoyed it. And opportunities had just been coming my way. Other people saw stuff in me. Acting chose me. As a spoken word artist, I perform, but acting is a different world, and I love it. I love it.
Yes, and with acting, you can transform into a different character. And I'm going to ask
Absolutely.
you a question too, because I ask a lot of actors this question. For you, when you're on set and when you're in character, do you ever have trouble getting back into yourself? Like, okay, this is Harold. Do you ever get caught up in the moment, like in your character? Because I've had actors that have been on my show previously. They've done crime shows like Fatal Attraction. I'm pretty sure you've heard of that, TV1, and
Mhm.
For My Men, another show that's on TV One, and they will be playing criminals, and they will get so caught up in the moment of this character. It's just like, okay, I need to come back to myself. Like, okay, I'm Miss Stevie. I'm not the character anymore. Has that ever happened to you on set?
I might have been caught up in a particular scene because this particular movie, it was different scenes called for different emotions. So I might have got caught up in that scene, and then after that scene was over with, I had to bring myself down because I was super emotional and I'm crying. My adrenaline's pumping, so I need a minute just to kind of decompress. So it has definitely happened. But once I leave, I gotta flip the switch, and decompress. So it has happened, definitely.
Okay, okay. Definitely, it's happened, and I bring up that point because it's happened to some big names as well too. Lupita, when she was doing Us, she said she literally had to detox and get the character out of her system. Like it literally takes you on a trance where she's like, "Ooh, I need to come back to reality. I'm no longer this character anymore. Everything that you've been taught
Mhm.
to do as the character is just like, okay, I need to get rid of it out of my system. I can't do it anymore. I've done what I've done. I came to do what I do, and I'm no longer the character. I'm back to my normal self now. So with that means, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I had to play a character who was abusive towards women, and it was a scene where I had to grab her, slam her down, and it was as if I was punching her, but I punched the chair, and that was extremely hard for me because my demeanor is very laid back and relaxed. So I had to go from all of this anger and then have to come all the way back down. That was very, very hard because majority of people who have saw me, they never seen me even raise my voice like that.
In that way.
So yeah, but I think that's part of doing your job as an actor. I mean, you are actually being someone else and understanding that going into it. Somehow, some way, you got to come back out of that. So yeah, but I
Absolutely.
enjoy it.
And speaking of out of your element, you've also done some hosting. Tell us about hosting Free Your Mind Friday Live. Tell us about that.
So a couple of years ago, I wanted to create my version of Deaf Poetry Jam. Shout out to Status Network. So it was online. It was called Free Your Mind Friday Live. So I would bring on different poets, spoken word artists, and everybody would do their thing. Shout out to Tina B. She would interview them afterwards. And I just wanted to do something different because I hadn't seen that at that point. And, I've hosted uh, black tie fairs, fashion shows. And the thing I love about hosting is I get to show my personality and be silly. Because on a day to day basis, I'm very chill, I'm laid back. So I can kind of come out my cancer shell, if you will. And I remember I would watch Steve Harvey, the Nick Cannons of the world. I would study them as far as hosting is concerned because, you want to be able to engage the audience. You know what I'm saying? Even with the way that I dress, the way that I talk, like I would come out and say, "What up, though?" Everybody know I'm from Detroit. So I say, "What up, though?" And if they don't say it back, I'll say, "You know what? I see we got some boozy people here. We go try this again." So when I say it, the whole crowd will say, "What up, though?" So I get to be more outgoing than I normally would be on a day to day basis. I love hosting. I love hosting.
Okay, okay. So we see a lot of your personality now What is the biggest misconception that people have about you? Because from just meeting you, your personality is laid back, is fun, and our chemistry is definitely here because I'm the same way as well. Two people think I'm a certain way, and then they're just like, wow, she's completely different. So,
I think if people saw me on the street, I use this story. If somebody saw me walking across the Walmart parking lot, they probably go think I'm mean as hell and I'm about to do something to somebody just because of my stature and demeanor. So that's probably the biggest misconception, that I'm always look like I'm about to put hands on somebody. Now, let's not get it confused. If there was some danger carried towards me and I had to defend myself, I will. But genuinely, I'm a laid back guy, so I think that's probably the biggest misconception. It's my own fault, because if you saw me, I probably wouldn't be smiling. I would just be. So they'd be like, I would say that's the biggest misconception.
okay, okay. And you also hold the title as Atlanta's hottest spoken word artist for 2018 and 2019. How does that feel? What's running through your mind to have these two titles under your belt, along with actor, along with writer as well?
Well, first off, is shout out to all the amazing poets in the city of Atlanta. And I was fortunate enough to get voted 3 times. I won it this year too.
Wow,
And
congrats.
I'm going to be very honest. The first time I won it, I was like, what is this? And I remember some of the reactions I was getting afterwards. People was like, well, who is he? If you compare, if you see my name next to the previous winners, they'd be like, well, who is this guy? So I had a bit of a chip on my shoulder, because they was like, well, who is he? What has he done? So when I won it the next year, it was like, okay, who wants something now? You know, so it's an honor, it's a privilege. People voted for me. As a spoken word artist, I just want people to listen. You know, so I don't, awards don't validate, but it kind of make people appreciate you more. They're like, well, why did he win these awards? Let me go find out about it. So I've gotten booked from people seeing that I won these awards, wanting to find out more. So yeah, I mean, it definitely helps, but I didn't need the awards to prove that I'm a good artist. But it's humbling. It's humbling.
Absolutely. 100%. It's all about your talent, your credit, And a lot of people sometimes is like, oh, I got to get this award. It's not about that. It's about your craft. It's about your skill. And that's what people are looking for when they're producing their projects or directing. Could you see yourself doing that, stepping behind the lens as well, to producing, directing, other than writing as well?
I didn't see acting coming, right? I didn't see me doing what I've done in poetry. I didn't see the hosting. So what I will say, whatever he has for me is gonna be for me. What I would like to do, I'm gonna just go ahead and claim it. I would like to write a theater, like a stage play. That's something, because I love the theater aspect. So that's something I would want to take one of my poems and make it into a stage play. So I can see me behind the camera. As a matter of fact, hold on. I actually did do something behind the camera. I directed a video for one of the poems that I did off my project, Words Spoken by Mr. Outley Volume 1, still streaming on all platforms. It's called Duval. So I did direct that. So I forgot I did be behind the camera. Wow. So yeah. And it's on YouTube. Duval, that's the name of it. But I like the directing. I was trying to be a poor man's John Singleton. I think I did okay. But I can see that. I can, if the right opportunity came. So it's up to him. It ain't up to me.
Okay. And you've also done some narrating, Shell of a Man, and What Do You Want to Eat? And you were recently casted to star in First Lady and True Love. They're both stage plays. And you talk a lot about theater because theater is a completely different experience than like how we're doing now with live television or shooting a film. It's a completely different experience because if you mess up in real time, the audience is going to catch up to it and they're just going to be like, okay, they forgot a line or this happened. So the best way to do it is try to make the audience not even recognize that nothing went wrong. You just have to go along with the show. So what are your thoughts and comparisons on live theater than doing a film?
I I so love line theater. The Second First Lady, The Shell of a Man, Men Pray Too. It's I get a Coach Wesley had gave me some awesome coaching while we were rehearsing for the stage play Men Pray Too. And he told me, he said, give this particular scene everything that it needs. Focus on this scene. And when we got to one of the shows, there was a scene where one of the actors didn't come down the stairs. So he's sitting in the chair and I'm on a couch. And we had the improv right there. The audience didn't know. I knew. So he just started a conversation and I was going back and forth. And I remember going backstage after that scene and we just looked at each other and he just pointed at me, so being able to improvise like in the moment, but that's one of the thrills that I got from doing theater because everything is right there. You can see the audience immediate reaction. You're not supposed to break that fourth wall, but you can feel it. That's why I love theater so much. Like that particular play was an awesome experience. So I can't choose. I don't know if that's going to be a question you ask, but I don't know if I can choose. But that thrill, that burst of energy you get from a live audience doing the stage play, there's nothing like it.
And Men Pray Too, you've mentioned that one. One of my guests was also, I think, in the stage play. Barry Williams was also in that stage play in a particular project, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah. He was previously
Yep.
on the show as well, and he talked a little bit about the project. And you mentioned writing being like a therapy outlet. We talk a lot about, I'm bringing this up because in contribution to, oh yes, how have you mastered the art of focusing? And that comes from Liz. That's kind of where I was getting to with that. Like, how do you stay centered with everything that's going on? How do you stay centered and balanced? Because there's so much going on out here in this world, and people are just like losing it. People have lost family members to this thing, and we've got the war. It's so much. So mentally, how do you stay centered and focused?
So I'm assuming the question, if she's referring to focusing when it comes to being in the moment of performing,
Yes.
is that the question that you're asking, Miss Music? Because I want to make sure I get the question clearly because I want to be able to answer her correctly. But in regards to the way you asked the question, I prepare. Like I'm real big on preparing, and if I'm preparing, like when I'm, I guess, rehearsing and practicing, I be so locked in. It doesn't matter where I'm at. I could be on a plane. I do a lot of it in the car. If I'm in a house in front of a mirror, I just kind of focus in. Okay, so So if I'm in a stage play and I know something is about to happen where you're going to get an audience reaction, it's almost as if I block everything out and I'm focusing on a person right in front of me. And it goes back to the coaching that Wesley gave me. Focus on what you need to do in that particular scene. Give that character everything it needs. I can't think about anything else. I think as an actor, if you're doing that, anything other than that, you're cheating. So I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to do, and I'm following the tips the director gave me. I'm going by what we had in rehearsal, and I'm going over it in my brain. Like I can see myself doing it prior to doing it. So I just stay in that moment. I just stay there until it's time to come out of it. But then I'm trying to prepare for the next scene. So to answer your question, hopefully I did. It's the preparation, the direction that I take from the director, and I just stay focused in that moment, in that scene.
Would you say being comfortable with self and trusting your gift is part of the process? Great questions.
That is a beautiful question. So being comfortable with self. It took me years to get confidence to get on a microphone for the first time, just from poetry. And I got laughed at the first time. I had jokes cracked on me the first time. I didn't go back for 2 years. So I had to develop that confidence. So developing that confidence and then getting back on the stage, getting them 10,000 hours, I began to build the confidence. So when I was able to get that confidence, now I can work on my stage presence. I got the words. Let me engage with the audience. So I will study old R&B groups, R&B singers. I will watch how Teddy Pendergrass and People Bryson, they will stand behind a microphone. They write on the mic, but they body movement and they looking around. They bring the audience in. Building my confidence gave me that trust to know when I get in front of these people and I know I put the work in, it's going to show on stage. So it's all a part of the process. It's practicing. You have to trust yourself. You got to take some lumps because everybody not going to like everything. But if I know, I put in all the work, all the preparations, I trust me to go out there and do my job. That is a magnificent question. Oh, that's a beautiful question. Yeah. And it's a gift too. Remember I said it's a gift. So he got the words flowing through me anyway. I always pray before I go out there anyway. Always pray.
100%. Do we have any more questions for
That
Harold?
is
This
that
is
is
such a
great.
great interview. We're talking a lot about mental health and staying balanced and staying centered and staying focused with everything that's going on because it's definitely been a lot. We got another question from Liz. Being on stage exposes vulnerability when a mistake is made. How do you keep going and improvise?
You Before I answer a question, you just made a good point I want to touch on, trying to keep our mental stability with so much that's going on. I am so grateful that I have a great support system around me. I have a great support system. So that's my base. That's what helps me. But to answer her question, being vulnerable on stage, you know what? That was something that I struggled with because as a writer, Erykah Badu was right. We are sensitive. And there are things that I've shared on stage from a poetry perspective that I have been vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? But my mama always said, if you tell the truth about yourself, can't nobody tell a lie on you. So I think being vulnerable helps connect with the audience, that authenticity. People, especially men, when you say something that men can relate to, it takes us being vulnerable for people to be able to relate. And when I've made a mistake on stage, only I know. You just keep going. But see, that's where the preparation comes in. I just had a feature last Saturday, and I know I missed the line, but nobody knew but me. You know what I'm saying? So that's where the preparation comes in. And when you've been doing it for so long, you can still stay in that moment knowing you've made a mistake and improvise. Oh, yeah. All of us have done it. But those who prepare and you know who you are, like you just know, you know what you know and you know it. And you just keep going, even if it's a slight pause or a gesture, or you may laugh and then you think of that word and you just go on to the next line and you just keep going. Nobody knows but you. That's some great questions. I'm loving the questions. Thank you.
All right, we see y'all coming in. Do we have any more questions before we get to our games with Harold Fashion Dolls? The first one we're going to do is called the Rapid Five, and Harold has to tell us 5 things that he can't live without. And then the next one, I'm going to drop the name of some actors. This is going to be called His Thoughts. So I'm going to drop the name of some famous actors, and you give me the first word that comes to your mind describing that actor, what you think about that actor. But we got another
Okay.
question from Leah. She wants to know, why does human connection matter to you?
Well, It's that first word you just said, human. Uh, as humans, nobody can live this life by themselves. So many of us thrive on human interaction. I'm I'm an introvert to a certain extent. I like to be alone, but sometimes you gotta have that human interaction. So it's definitely important.
Absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. 100%. And that's the sole thing. With technology and us being separated, with this thing going on, I'm
Hmm.
thankful for the power of technology for us being able to reach out or text a friend or phone call a friend and just be able things have changed so much, from physical touch to now being able to do Zoom. I've actually seen people do Zoom dinners with their families and things, especially during the holidays, since we're not able,
Hmm.
to meet in person and be in person. It's completely different. Like we're now in the 20th century. So things have definitely changed way back when from writing letters and putting stamps on the letters and things and sending them out. So things have definitely completely changed. And I'm thankful for that. So yeah.
I I've definitely went to quite a few Zoom birthday parties when we were locked down. I think that Zoom helped a lot of people mentally. Like if people couldn't touch people or hug people, for them to be able to see them, I'm sure Zoom made a lot of money off a lot of people. So you're absolutely right. We need that human interaction. We need that.
And I know it gets tough. We get separation anxiety, but
Hmm.
the best thing is that we keep in touch with one another. A phone call, a text. I know I keep in touch with my family and friends and some of my close friends that are also content creators as well. Shout outs to K Tubes, shout outs to Tony and all of them. We always text each other like, "You okay? Are you doing well? How are you doing?" Like
Hmm.
before anything, make sure that everyone another is doing all right. So yeah, it doesn't take a thing to reach out to somebody to see how they're doing, see how their day is going, because it's rough on everyone. It's rough on everyone.
Oh,
What is your
absolutely.
positive go-to word and why? That's a question from Liz.
My positive go-to word. Well, my go-to word is grateful.
Mm,
So it could be grateful or gratefulness. So grateful is my go-to word, and that's something I listen to the song every morning when I get up. Every morning we get a chance and a choice. So grateful is definitely my go-to word, and the song by Hezekiah Walker, that's my go-to song. No matter what's going on, there's always something to be grateful about. No matter what it is you
oh yeah,
think you're going through that's bad, somebody is going through something way worse than you.
absolutely, absolutely. All right, fashion dolls, it is time for the rapid five, and Harold has to tell us what your top five things that you can't live without.
No matter what it is, uh, my God,
Mm,
my family, uh, water, uh, I guess my hygiene uh, practices because I like hygiene a lot, and I would probably say music.
okay,
Yeah.
all right. That is his top five, and you started it off with God. I believe in putting God first in everything that I do. And my mom, she raised me up that way. She said, "Never get too big for this industry. Did you forget that God has put you here to where you need to be?" That's what she told
Always.
me. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
those are my five things.
Liz wants to
Um,
know, would you kindly sing a bit of it?
ma'am, told I gotta have my water. Let me tell you something. I am a lot of things. A singer is certainly not one that I can proclaim to be. So if you can forgive me by not asking me to sing, because I'm not a singer.
Okay. All right.
Whew.
All right. All right, fashion dolls. We now have to do this next segment. The next segment is called His Thoughts. And I'm going to drop a name of an actor. And
Okay.
Harold has to tell me his first thoughts that come to mind about these actors and actresses that I'm going to name. First word. Okay, the first one that I'm going to start off with would have to be Morgan Freeman.
Longevity.
Mm,
Longevity. I say that because um, he has been around for so many years. We still don't know how old Morgan Freeman is. Some people say he looked the same way he did now than he did 20 years ago. But longevity is the first word that I think of when I think about Morgan Freeman.
all right. The actress that is up next, we have Viola Davis.
Viola Davis, powerful. I remember that scene she did in The Help, and she was telling the lady about herself, and I was taking this acting class, and I was looking at her eyes. It was her eyes, and they did a close up of her, and the way she was staring, she was so in the moment. Powerful. Viola Davis is powerful.
All
She
right.
has the best eyes.
Speaking of the best eyes, the next actress she does as well too. She has that very powerful, smoldering stare, and it is Angela Bassett.
Angela Bassett is heavenly. She is heavenly. I I have never been able to watch What's Love Got to Do with It all the way through, but I just remember her physique when she prepared for that role. That's something that just stuck out to me. You know, she's heavenly. She has Angela Bassett is heavenly. She is. I wish I was Tay Diggs in that movie. Stella Got a Groove back way back then.
Liz says she's dominant. Yes, it's like almost every character her and Viola portray is like a heroine in a way. It has its
Yes,
own story. Liz says she has conviction. Absolutely, absolutely.
I I recently watched Waiting to Exhale, and I saw it when I was younger. But being a actual grown man now, when she was standing out there and she had burned the stuff up, and when she was smoking a cigarette and she flicked it and walked away, I felt that. And I'm a man. When I was that young, I couldn't really understand it, but seeing it again as an adult, when she was in that moment, I said, that's every black woman everywhere that had been through something. And she flicked that cigarette, and the way she walked off and the policeman came and asked her, did she set the car on fire? I said, I so appreciate her even more now than I did when I saw the movie when I was younger.
Yes, and it goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning when you mentioned Tina Turner. She said she had to literally train to get into character as Tina Turner, and she said it was very strenuous. It was very, very strenuous. She makes
She
the
makes,
story her story. Hmm.
yes, I definitely have to agree with that. She does.
And that's for every actor. That's for every actor. They have to make it their own. They have to make the character believable. So that's why I asked you that question in the beginning. Have you ever got caught up in the moment of, your character, and you just have to come back, okay, like I'm Harold now. I'm not the character anymore.
Yes, definitely. But I mean, you have to. Like when you get the script, the director says the character is this. So yeah,
Uh-huh.
you read the script, you got a background on who the character is. Now you have to make that character you by you want to follow directions on the script, but now you have to give the character some of you. You have to give the character some of you in order for it to come out. So I'm sure when Angela Bassett did the role in Black Panther as the mother, I'm sure she drew from that. So absolutely, you have to.
All right, the last two actors that I'm going to give, it would have to be Michael K. Williams and Harold E. Outley.
Michael K. Williams, I'll say range.
Mm.
I'll say range because he's done a lot of different roles, and to play Omar on The Wire, but then play the role he played on Boardwalk Empire. I mean, they're two totally different characters, but he was still able to. It made you believe both of them. So I definitely say range. Damn, wow, gone too soon. Uh, Harold Outley, wow. One word, I'll say growing. And the reason why I say that because I'm still growing. I hope to continue to grow within this acting space. Um, First of all, I know you. I'm surprised you actually said my name. Uh, I would say growing. I'll say growing because that's the goal is to continue to grow with every role that I play, every opportunity that I'm able to receive. Growing. Man, that was slick. That was slick. That was slick. Now, how you name all them and then put me with them? I'm thinking you gonna say somebody like Denzel. Very slick. I like it.
Everybody mentions Denzel, so I said let's shake it up a bit, a little plot twist.
I like
What
it. I like it.
what would you say you would what would you say would be the one thing you will not do for acting? And that's a question from Liz.
One thing that I wouldn't do. Now, again, I want to make sure I got the right context. Are you asking one thing that I wouldn't do as far as a role?
I'm assuming so. I'm assuming that's where she's getting at with this.
Uh, One thing that I wouldn't do. You, my mom used to say, never say what you won't do. So I wouldn't say never, but I would really, it would have to be advantageous for me to have to kiss another man on screen, because that's one thing. That would take some convincing. So that would be something I would be like, I don't know.
To
But
make you
then I
kind of
mean,
get
it's
out of
different.
yeah.
But then again, I don't know if I could say that because just depending on the role, and they'd be like, hey, Mr. Outley, we're paying you X amount of dollars to kiss this man on the cheek. So you just like I said, I'm acting, so you never want to limit yourself. But I'll be lying if I sit up here and said I'll be like, I don't know. But
Right.
then I'm sure my lady would be like, how much they paying you? They doing what? How, oh, I think you better go and get in the character.
That's right.
But you're acting. So I think as an actor, you don't want to limit yourself. So I will say that I can't sit up here and say I'm steadfast against something, because if there's something that I want to do, you know what I'm saying, you got to put yourself in it.
Right. And it goes back to the word that you used to describe Michael K. Williams, range. And
Yeah.
Leslie Jones also said something as well too. They typecast you in Hollywood. If you're black actor, they expect you to portray only one specific role. Whereas these actors that I've named, like Morgan Freeman, Angela Bassett, Viola Davis, Kerry Washington, they all have range, as well as the late Michael K. Williams. God, I hate that I'm saying that. I mean, gone too
Right.
soon. Sidney Poitier just not too long ago, and so
Hmm.
many others. Um, but the thing about it is they had range. And you have to be willing I mean, as uncomfortable as it might seem, some actors will just be like, okay, I'm going to do this because I do not want to get typecasted. And I know actors hate that. Like, they only want you to portray one specific role. And Leslie Jones, she was speaking about that. She said, they want me to play the loudmouth black woman, the loudmouth stereotypical black woman type character. And she just like, okay, I want to do something a little bit different out of my element other than just, making people laugh. Comedy. When I had Tommy Davidson on my show, he said that that's something that he wanted to do as well, too, was step out of the realm of comedy because we know him as Oscar Proud, the Proud Family, and Live in Color,
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Foxx and the Wayans brothers. So he wanted to step. David Allen Greer is another one. So you
Mm-hmm.
know them as these funny characters, but they want to show you that we're more to it than just comedy as well. Marlon Wayans is another one.
You know what that's interesting? The flip side of that coin is acting coach and photographer. He's an actor. Shout out
Yeah.
to Dwayne Boyd that did my headshots. I had this conversation with him, and because of my size and stature, he was like, "You may get booked like for a lot of cops, the detectives." And we was talking about typecasting. And he said,
Mm-hmm.
"You want to work, right? So you play all of these detective roles until you're able to do something else. Because playing all these cop roles will get you in the door, it'll get you working, it'll kind of build, your credits up.
Yeah.
But you do that until you're able to do something else. So it's nothing wrong. He was like, it's nothing wrong, getting typecast to be a cop. But then what if they be like, well, this guy let's see if he can do something else because he's played a cop or a Navy SEAL because of my size playing security. Now you be able to do something else. So I think it works both ways. You are quite welcome. I have no problem being honest. It's all good.
And that's what it's all about because there are actors out here just like, okay, with if they only think that capable of playing this specific role, then I mean, I want to show
Mhm.
you my range. I want to show you that I'm able to do a little bit of everything. Even Chris Rock, we've seen him, okay, in funny roles, but then we've
Mhm.
seen him outside of funny roles where it's more serious. So, it's about range. And for me, I think of acting for me because I love fashion. And fashion for me is dressing because you have attitude. And I want to show people that I'm not constantly buttoned up. So like today, I wanted to show a different side, a sultrier side, sexier side. And
Mhm.
it's all about transforming when you're going into character. So for me, fashion is like going into character when you're on set. So when you
Okay.
change up your look, you change up your mindset, you change up everything. It's like having that keyword, what? Range. We got
Range.
another question from Liz, and she wants to know what was your most challenging role?
There were two. The one I did with the Shell of a Man, playing an abuser, and actually the role that I just did, the Boy with No Voice, a movie that was showcased 2 weeks ago. I played a character that was based on a real life person. He's very demonstrative and abusive towards kids,
Oh,
and that was probably two of the most challenging roles because there was a scene where I'm shaking the 6 year old, you know, um, and those were the two roles that I was the most hesitant to take, But after they showed the showing of the Boy with No Voice, when they did the Q&A afterwards, the way the audience reacted. So when the lady said she wanted to jump on me at the Q&A because she was mad at the character, I was like, okay, range. Because I had to be he was a very mean, evil person. So that was probably the hardest, what I'm saying, to talk to somebody the way that I did. So that was probably the most challenging, if you will. Make sure I got that word, challenging. Yeah. But I did it.
and yeah, and Taraji P. Henson said this. I'm bringing up so many quotes, so many big names. She said this. She said, if it doesn't scare me, I won't do it. When she was going in for the role as Cookie on Empire, she said, if it doesn't scare me, I'm not going to do it. So challenge, that's where challenge comes in. You got to be willing to challenge yourself and step out of your comfort zone.
Mhm.
I did some acting, but it was one little movie role. I was a college professor and the assistant to, which
No
was a
role is
horror.
little.
Yes,
No role is little.
it was a horror project actually. It was a horror film. And
Mhm.
shout outs to the director Alex Jonte who gave me that opportunity. I had to tap into my teaching skills because I remember when I was younger and I would always, you know how we used to pretend like we were a teacher, we were a doctor and things like that. For this role, he wanted me to portray a college professor. And I had to teach a class. Thank God we did it via Zoom. And when I did the table read, I'd never had any acting experience. Went in and nailed it with flying colors. Me and shout outs to Roman, my co-star. We had a little exchange in one of the scenes and it was so funny. Like we just couldn't stop laughing because in the tape before we shot the actual scene, we were rehearsing everything, and we kept getting each other's parts mixed up. It was so hilarious, y'all. And once we did it, the project came together beautifully, and I'm just like, wow. So never sell yourself short. Challenge yourself. It was a challenge for me because I
Absolutely.
put so much pressure on myself for this character, Professor Fear, and he would. What really took me for my ladies out there, because y'all know my hair is my crown and joy. When he said to this character, because I got the role on my birthday, he said, "Would you like to be in a project?" I said, "Sure," but he didn't tell me what the character would look like. So for the character, he wanted me to have short hair. And at the
Oh,
time, I'm rocking at least 34, 13 inches of hair down my back. So, and I'm like, what? You want me to cut it off? So we did it. I did the change and nailed it. It was perfect. I'm a singer songwriter, poet, and a lot of what has been mentioned also apply to my art. Yes, about challenge, range, and I
mhm.
hope you guys are paying attention to these terminologies that we're doing. When you're going into music, when you're going into acting, whatever field that you're going into, people are going to look for something, they're going to want something different. They're not going to want the same thing. And again, typecasting can be a good
Absolutely.
thing in certain cases.
Yeah.
So pay
Yeah.
attention to it.
I love it. Okay. Yeah.
So my last question for you, Harold, is we've got through all of this, the ups and downs and how you got here from your journey. What is
Mhm.
next in your journey? What can people expect from you in the future?
Uh, well, what I got coming? I just recently got booked for a web series. We do the table read on Sunday. Um, what else? They just wrapped it. I did a feature background role for a HBO Max series called Staircase. That's gonna be coming out.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's probably. I don't know a release date for that, but now that they just wrapped it, I'll say something about it. I actually got audition tonight. Uh, what else? Two auditions coming up. I'm going to put together, well, release my second poetry project this year. Hopefully, more roles, more acting. The boy with no voice is out. Men Pray 2, the movie, is still out. Uh, Whatever he got for me, he got for me. I'm gonna just there. There's the door. I'm gonna just walk through it.
That's right. Whatever's put out there in the universe that God puts out there for you is definitely out there. What were and still your limitations due to the pandemic and everything? That's a question from Liz.
Uh, well, what are my limitations due to COVID? Well, I'll use this example. When I did a Staircase, they had us in a hotel for 7, 8 days, and we couldn't leave at the hotel. We had to take 2 COVID tests per day every morning. We had to, before we even get to set, we had to do the COVID test. So I think a lot of productions are using, proper protocols, on sets now. Um, I would hope that if I'm going on a set, despite how people may feel, if people are vaccinated, projects now, when I get these invitations to audition, they want you to be vaccinated, so I will hope every set, people who are in charge of it are ensuring, everybody is being safe, so, and when I did do some stuff during COVID, I mean, people were taking temperatures, people were wearing masks in the audience, so there were
Yeah.
precautions taken. But as things slowly begin to shift, if you will, hopefully people still keep in mind COVID is still out here in these streets, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not get it confused.
I hope you all are paying attention and staying safe out because it is not a game. Even though, looks like things are starting to go back to normal slowly but surely, we still need to take precautions out here.
Absolutely. I would like to tell everybody. I'm maybe you asked me this, but I want to give everybody information where they can find me.
Plug it.
Um, if you like to book me hosting poetry, you may be writing a movie, have a role. It's two ways you can find me. First of all, you can find me on all social media platforms at Mr. Outley 75. MrOutley. Mr. Outley 75. But if you really want to see me, you can go to my website. Matter of fact, I'm going to type it down here if you don't mind so everybody can come to the website. I have content up there so you can come and check me out to book me for your event. I would definitely love to get people to go to see the website. So, yeah.
And I just pinned it. We've got one more question before we wrap up. Any
Of
more
course.
questions, you guys? Ski be still standing underscore in double 17. Ooh, Lord, that's a long. I've been waiting to try acting. What's the procedure I have to take?
Wow. The best answer that I have. Are you able to hear me still? Because I think my earbuds just went out.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. The best thing, I don't believe there's like a particular procedure because somebody saw me doing poetry and was like, "Hey, I got this play. You want to be in it?" So I don't know if there's an exact
Yes.
procedure, but I will tell you some of
Give
the
me one second.
information that was. I'll give you the information that was
So just
given
sit outside the
to
door. I'll be out there.
was given to me. Like you could, you know, submit yourself for different castings. Like I was doing background. One acting coach, she said, you know, get you some acting classes. Um, Headshots are real, but if you're like just getting into it, I would put in for different castings. Some people may be looking for somebody that look a particular way. You know what I'm saying? And if you got a headshot or a picture, Facebook has all these casting groups, and you can search for them. I'm sure other platforms do as well, but I don't believe there is one particular procedure because people just see you and be like, "Hey, I'm doing this. You look like you could be right for this."
All right. I
So
hope
that's
you
what I
got
will say.
so no so and it's so many programs out here that can help you as well. To me, I do about it the old fashioned way. I
Okay.
go and I read books. There's so many programs that can help you if if you're looking to get into music, there's unsung behind the music. There's so many things that you can watch that can help you if you're looking to get into becoming an actress or a singer, songwriter, or a poet, whatever. There's so much knowledge out here. Don't take it for granted. Go ahead and take
Absolutely.
advantage. You are so welcome. Oh, I love this new feature Instagram has. It's like where you pop up, where the comments pop up, you'll be able to like the comments, post with.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes. So, do we have any more questions before we conclude? This was such a great conversation. I love your energy. You're an
Thank you.
amazing spirit. And
Thank you.
I'm going to let Harold conclude the interview today. Normally, I would conclude it with a final word, but I'm going to let Harold take us out. So, is there any words of encouragement that you would like to give to people like Ski and others who are looking to get into acting, what advice would you give them?
I would say first and foremost, I mean, we always got to keep him at the forefront of anything. There are things that I asked for years ago that has just come to fruition. So I mean, it's him. I mean, you got to put yourself out there, regardless of what it is. If the young lady she performs poetry, practice. Get in front of the mirror. You know what I'm saying? Practice, prepare, but just and believe in yourself because somebody go try to
Doubt you.
detour you. Somebody go doubt you. So you have to have it internally. Believe in yourself and keep him first. I mean, it sounds cliche, but I can guarantee you, I would not be even breathing if I didn't believe in him first. And tell me you can still hear me.
Yes, I can still hear you.
Okay, my earbuds just died at the end of the interview. I'm glad they stayed powered up the whole time. So that's the suggestion that I would have. So if you're watching this, you know what I'm saying, keep God first, man. Keep the negative energy away from you. And man, just be grateful. Be grateful.
All right. We hope
And
you
and
guys.
follow me.
Yes. And check out Harold's website,
Please go to the website.
www.whatstory.com.
Yes.
And
Yes.
please follow on all social platforms. Thank you so much, Harold. This was such an amazing conversation, and I would love to
I
speak with you
appreciate you for
again
having
in
me.
the future.
I appreciate you for having me. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Harold E. Outley. Friday, we have Edward Williams III. There's no show tomorrow or Saturday or weekends, but we have some more amazing guests next week. So make sure you guys stay tuned here on Style by Stevie. I'm your lovely hostess, Miss Stevie, and I will see you guys later. Fashion Dolls, take care, and this interview will be up. Take care, everyone.
Appreciate y'all.
You're so welcome.
Thanks.